Yeah, let's do it, dude.
All right.
Well,
So,
how long do you usually do it? Do you do like an hour and a half?
bruh, I try not to put like a set timer for everybody.
Okay,
I give
okay.
them like an approximately, say that
Yeah,
we do
yeah.
this for an hour or an hour and a half or two. But most of the time, if we just keep talking, man, we could be doing this for hours and hours at end, man. And to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's more valuable, man. It's the
Yeah,
conversation, it's the time,
yeah, yeah. I was just checking. I was just checking. I didn't know if like you have like a schedule of things or what, but yeah, no, I'm all
I
for it,
mean,
dude.
I do have a schedule. Well, not a schedule. Like I do have a schedule of people I got to interview every day for the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks. That's
Oh
why.
shit.
That's why I always try to, interview them individually, like per day.
Yeah.
Yeah, not. I try to do the two per day, and most of the
Oh,
time, it's
that's
either.
time consuming, probably.
Yeah, it's very time consuming, and sometimes the what you call it the one will cancel and then the other, and then I'm like, damn, what do I have to do the rest of the day or rest of the night? I cancel all my plans, so it's
Yeah, I got
yeah.
you.
I avoid that as much as possible. I just say, you know what, let's just do it at this time, like
Yeah.
7 p.m. Eastern time, my time. It's
Mhm.
usually a good universal time for everybody. So I just
Yeah, yeah. I get off at 6 Eastern, so that's literally perfect timing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get up at 5 p.m. Eastern, and it just takes me like an hour just to get here. Today was a little bit longer. School
Yeah,
starts and whatnot. So yeah, it just
yeah.
and sometimes, like I said, like I text you, hey, I just got here. Give me a few, and we'll set
Yeah,
it up,
yeah. Do
man.
your thing. Do your thing. Yeah.
No, yeah, no. Like it varies. It varies from time to time for people. Sometimes I actually do get the 4-hour conversations with somebody, and I'll just
Yeah.
divide the episode, and I
Oh,
enjoy it.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely,
that's pretty dope.
bro. And I wish I could be like in the level of Joe Rogan, in which I can actually go ahead and slap the 3-hour conversation into that one episode. But most of the
Yeah.
time, our audience is like, I can't listen to a conversation for 3 hours. So I just divide it into two and put an hour and a half each, and it's
Yeah.
better, more
Yeah.
content for me, more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm all
no,
for that. Yeah, no, I totally get you there. I mean, me personally, I could watch like a 3 to 4 hour documentary myself. Like just I usually have things on the side when I'm doing stuff anyways.
right.
So stuff like that just keeps me like focused. Like I'll watch podcasts or something, but I'll have them playing like over and over. So it's like I'm already listening to something that's like basically 4 hours long, you know?
Right. And sometimes it's good for people, Sometimes it's always good
Yeah.
to have those like deep dive conversations, Because
Yeah.
most of the time it's just most of the time when you hear these podcasts, and I'm not throwing any shade to any podcast out there. It's just my personal opinion. Most of the time it's just Q&As.
Yeah.
While
Yeah.
while the A's are dope, it gets a little bit repetitive, like I
Mhm.
already heard this before. Like, how many times are you gonna ask this artist the
Yeah.
same question or a different artist every time? Like, give me something like more meaningful, more in depth.
Yeah.
That's why
Um, one person that's really good at that I look up to is Nardwar. You know him?
I don't. Tell me more.
So Nardwar does like very in-depth like research.
Mm,
Like if you search on YouTube like Nardwar top 20 reactions,
okay.
he'll talk to like Lil Uzi Vert and be like, "Oh, so what about your childhood friend when you were 8?" And then like Lil Uzi Vert's like, "You know too much," and just starts running out the hotel room. Like he knows his shit. It's crazy. Like people keep thinking like he's like the feds or something. When he
Yo.
asks these questions, like he knows like their mom's name and shit like that. Like shit you can't find on the internet type deal. And it's
Oh.
nuts. Like, dude's crazy. I don't know how he does it, but like either he has a great team or like he's just good at finding stuff like that. It's very good. Like he'll find like records
Mm.
that people listened to when they were like a kid, and people would be like, "How the fuck you know about that shit? I never said it in any other interviews and stuff." It's nuts. Like, he's interviewed people like Drake, Tyler the Creator, like all the big names in like rap and whatnot.
Right.
And it's like, it's nuts, dude. I love watching those videos because he's such a good interviewer, because it's like things that, like you said, they're not like just simple Q&As that you've heard in every other interview. They're like shit that's like deep, or just things that would shock value the artist,
right?
That would get them like intrigued, you know?
Yeah, no, and that's the whole point about doing this type of stuff, bro. Like you want people to know the artist, know the person, you know, who you're trying to get into a conversation. So because most of the time we see these artists as gods, as celebrities, as untouchables, you know, that level extreme, you know, and people need to understand that, you know, they're just regular people like you and me, you know, like anyone else. It's just so happened that their music happened to be elevated to a point that everyone in the world fucks with it and listens to it, you know?
Yeah.
But they're just regular people, you know? And when you hear these type of stories, you know, that they get highly motivated because it's like, wow, how the hell do you know that? And wow, I'd like to talk about this sort of stuff, because how many times do you think any of these artists overall have interviewed? Like how many interviews they get every year, you know?
Yeah, I mean, their manager's probably like, hey, you have an interview at 7:30. They're like,
right,
not this shit again. Like, probably the same. Oh, what are your favorite artists right now? Like, and then, someone like Nardwar, you know, for example, I'm just like, oh, what about this childhood name? And boom, mind blown, mind confused. And then they talk, you know? So
see, that's why I fuck a lot about that. You know, I love to hear, you know, podcasts that are all about, you know, having these the conversations, which is why it's one of those premises of what separates me for any other EDM podcast. Like everybody can say, like, you're just a regular podcast like us. You ask questions and the artists give answers. Like, yeah, probably. I probably throw a few Q&A here and there, but you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm just having a talk with a person. I'm just here listening their stories overall, you know? That's all. And
yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't really know that many like EDM like podcasts. A lot of the podcasts that are like an EDM, for example, like the Going Quantum podcast, it's all honestly just like guest mixes and whatnot. I don't really hear much about like artists getting interviewed or anything. I don't really know too many like other interviewers besides like you and maybe like a couple blogs, but that's it. A lot of the other interviewers are just blog posts on their websites. They don't really do like calls.
Well, some of the podcasts that I do know that I know are like back to back with Willie Joy. He's very good at doing the Q&As. He interviews everybody. Into the Daw Nation, you know, Behind the Daw by Wyatt. Shout out to those guys. You know, but they do more educational purposes, which is dope as well. Lizzie Jane podcast, but she definitely does Q&As, and Mr. Bill podcast is probably the closest thing you can find to a Joe Rogan style a little bit. So, but there are podcasts, they are out there. There are EDM podcasts out there that do sit downs and have conversations. Now, I'm not trying to brag and say like, oh yeah, mine's better. But I'm saying like mine so far is the only one that stands out between all of them, because I'm the only one who interviews people in a way that they feel comfortable to tell me their stories and tell me their inner stories that they would not normally tell this to someone.
Just someone random. Yeah.
So someone random and make it publicly. No, they're comfortable enough to tell me, like, for example, I had artists here that told me, like, you know, they've been on rehab before, they've done drugs, they've become homeless, they were, you know, the struggling artist routine. Like, you can check out some of the episodes, everybody can find it, and they're right there in the public, and they tell me these type of stories. And, yo, it's okay if you don't want to talk about this. And they're like, nah, you're good, man. We'll talk about this. Absolutely. And I'm like, I appreciate it. I appreciate they being comfortable to talk about this to me and for the audience to hear this so people can understand that these are human beings. This is stuff that happens to everybody, and it's okay to feel this way because it might actually happen. It being happening to you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Honestly, realism in the industry is probably the best thing that has like started happening because a lot of people, they want to fake their image so people see the limelight in it. But honestly, I get a lot of good responses on my realism for being real. Cause it's like, I don't want to be fake. I don't know. I don't want to put on some shitty image, some fake ass image. And then when you meet me in person, it's not that, I'm not trying to use all the energy that I got to be fake. Know, sure. Everyone's got a fucking bad day. Is it okay to curse?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. You can curse. Go ahead, man. Word.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't fuck with the whole fake shit. Like I don't want to have a fake image or a fake brand, just to get a wider audience. Yeah, I'm gonna be fucking real if I want. You know what I mean? Like I got a bad day, those bad days, I can make some fat tracks off of it, No, that's how it goes.
And that's how I like to keep it in the industry with myself, with everyone else. I want to be as blunt and honest as possible with everybody else. I always wanted to let them know that I'm real with you guys. Like I will never be a fake or a backstabber or any of that stuff because like at my age, like this is all high school bullshit. Like we don't have time for this, man. The only time that we have is to make music, make money, make business, and do all a bunch of crazy gnarly shit, man. We don't got time to deal with some drama and other crowds. Like, and why would you? Like honestly, What's the whole point of doing that?
I was in high school when I was dealing with all the drama high school shit. Like I started making music when I was in 8th grade. I was 13.
Wow.
When I started. So I dealt with all the high school drama shit when I was in high school. So like around like 16, 17, I was like, all right, fuck all that. Like, let me start making my shit,
Yo, that's crazy. Wait, so hold on. So how old are you? Are you in your 20s right now?
Yeah, I'm 22 now. I've been making music for 8 years.
Damn, that's fucking fire.
Yeah, dude.
Damn, dude. So what was that like for you to be the one that's making music while everybody else is like doing whatever?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, like I wasn't really too big on the whole like going to prom. Like, I mean, I've been to prom, I did that like a year before everybody else. Like not trying to brag. I was with someone a little older in high school. Already not trying to be a big baller here.
No cap.
Yeah. So, I mean, I already did the shit that I wanted to do in high school. Right. So it was like, all right, I can use the rest of that time, work on music. I guess just like meet a lot of people. Cause, back then I was a fan with a lot of people. I was fans of a lot of people, and a lot of those people became my friends now, which is really cool. Yeah, which is dope. Like, at first I was like, I appreciate what you do, and then like throughout the years, I'm getting older. I'm cool with them now. So I really spent a lot of like my high school years just trying to get better at my craft. So then when I'm older, I'm not stressing too hard about it. I'm not stressing too much about it, but like, I still like learning new things nowadays too,
Right. No, I will tell you that about the whole stress, man. I've been DJing for like 17 years already right now. And I started late on making music, like around my mid-20s around there, And the same level of stress that you probably are dealing with, I felt it very, very, very early on when I was trying to make music, man. And let me tell you, it's no bueno, man. It's no bueno.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, on top of like, I'm going to be honest. I mean, you said you got a kid, right? You said school's starting soon with them?
Oh, no, I don't got a kid.
Oh, my bad. No,
it's just that I live in South Florida, so school started for everybody, And when it's traffic hour in the summer was different than it is right now.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So like, the shitty thing about the school system, it's all about grading. It's not really much about learning. I'll say that. So it's like all about getting homework, essays, all that shit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I graduated high school at the right age, but like I definitely like did not give a shit too much about it, but I was also stressing. Like it was a lot of pressure on my back because they're like, oh, you got to get into college, get a good job, all that shit. And then I'm like, okay, I have all that on my back while I want to work on music, where that's some extra weights there, trying to get better. I'm like 15, 16 years old getting shit on by the industry because I'm a youngin' and I don't make the best of music, know? So it's like, I'm just trying to get better while I got to deal with grades and shit. And it's like, and then the teenage angst, depression shit that you get when you start getting older, you start realizing your brain's fucked up and it just all weights on your fucking shoulders. Yeah. I mean, it was ass, but like I made it through, I'm stubborn enough to make it through. Like I made sure that's for sure.
That's good.
I mean, there was definitely like some bad nights and shit. Like, of course, that like, it weighs too much on you sometimes. And I mean, it happens.
It happens. It happens to everybody, especially in those teenage years when you feel like you got the whole world and you're in the palm of your hands, and you got everything. You didn't have every adult problem that you normally will have. Like you don't get into adulthood without knowing all the level of stresses that you carried on when you were a teenager. And me looking back to it, I was like, shit, bro, like. I could have done so much if I would have worried and care less what other people think about me.
Yeah, I thankfully like right around like junior senior year, it started clicking like I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
Type deal, I'm not worried about what other people are thinking. Like I cracked the code in my head pretty early, thankfully, that I didn't got to worry about anybody else on how they view me. I got to worry about how I feel about me.
Right.
And once that shit cracked in my head, boom, like I was game over. I was going for it, man. Like honestly, yeah, like right when that clicked, I got like, I don't know, I got like a little cheat code in my head that like I started making better music and started understanding it, I don't know what the fuck happened, but it happened,
I mean, shit, it's senior year,
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, like I understand like senior year, there was like, the pressure about which college you want to go to and all that. But honestly, like around senior year, I stopped stressing. Like I'm kind of a stress-free type of guy. Like, I mean, like I got bills and shit, but it's like whatever, I'll get them paid, like I'll get it done. That's how I be doing, I don't like to stress too much, because if I stress too much, then it's like, yeah, fuck that, I'm not doing anything, you know what I mean?
No, I get you for sure. Like when until I don't know if in your situation, but when you have your own home and then you got your own bills to pay, like your car insurance and then groceries every so often. And like me, got my student debt, that I need to get paid off. And then sometimes you need to use your credit cards, and then you start building credit card debt, like for, it's great. The level of stress is just ridiculous at that point, but you, like you said, you deal with it one day at a time, and everything will get paid up. It's just, it's a numbers game,
It's a shitty thing where you gotta be like, damn, like look at this money I got in my bank, and then you're like, damn, I gotta use all of that. like I got paid the other day. I'm helping my mom out with her car, and I'm like, yo, this paycheck's nice. Damn, like, all right, let me send her the money. Like, let me do that. Let me get my bills paid. I'm like, damn, I got like $100 left. And then I get paid in 2 weeks.
And then you got to deal with those $100 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Emotional, damn
it. Start eating, bologna and orange juice.
Yeah. I was working on some cup noodle for like a week or so. Yeah, I got some shit from the dollar store.
Yeah,
dude, dollar store comes in clutch, man. I'll be honest. Like, there's days where I've been like broke. I got like quarters type broke, and the dollar store comes in clutch when you're like when you need some lunch, Yeah. I'd bring like what, like two, like maybe like 8 quarters. That's $2 right there. Because, maybe there might be tax or something. I get a little Powerade for $1 and like a chicken nugget, like box for $1 too. Yeah, like the little microwavable chicken nuggets. Yeah, you get that shit for $1 or like some noodles, you know?
God damn.
Yeah.
That's much more better than my old life. You know, when I was in college, I just go to a 7-Eleven for $10. I can have breakfast and lunch.
I mean, I'm not as good now. I literally like spent like $20 just now on like some Little Caesars a couple hours ago for lunch. So I mean, I'm not as good. You know, I was like, I want some pizza. So
hey,
I'm like, you know, I'm sacrificing, you know.
Hey, Little Caesars slaps, man. I don't care what anybody says. Little
No,
Caesars
I don't.
slaps.
Yeah, for fucking real. I don't care about the hate that they get. I'll eat that shit. I'll eat in front of someone's face, you know?
Absolutely.
Fuck all that.
The fucking double pepperonis that they got there oh my
God. Yeah. It was this like a most extra pepperoni shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? Big ass pieces of pepperoni and shit, dude. Oh, so good.
Oh yeah. I'll eat that like it was nothing, man. Absolutely. For how much? $6? What? Shut up and take my money, man.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of means of like, you know, getting through, you know, but I don't try to like stress too much about it just because I don't want it to get to me. Because like if it gets to me, then I just lose focus off of like my track that I want to do, you know.
So when you're actually dealing with all the shenanigans that you deal with, does that ever actually affect you when you're actually making music?
A lot of like my years, like growing up and stuff, like with throughout the, you know, the stress and like the angst and stuff, a lot of that was just angry ass music because I was an angry kid. Like I went through therapy and shit like that for it. Like throughout the whole school year and stuff. Like I was pissed off a lot. So a lot of that stuff was like a lot of angry music was being made. I mean, it wasn't the best angry music, but it was, you know, it was something that would let me like express myself, you know. And nowadays I don't stress too much, but like there's a lot of shit that I could still reflect on that really, you know, I need to put out. But you know, there's days, there's days where like I'll relapse into a depression and I'm like, damn, like I know what's going on. And I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, you know, I got to write some music about this, you know? So it mostly like turns into my inspiration because I use a lot of that shit like as inspiration, you know?
That's pretty dope, man. And not many people actually can do that type of stuff, you know? Like not many people can actually recognize when you're actually feeling depressed or feeling like you're about to fall off soon, you know, like and tackle it right in the moment. That's actually pretty admirable. And let me tell you, I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize if I for this question, but do you take meds or you don't?
No, every therapist and doctor that I met with, I always told them like, don't put me on medicine. Like I want to get through this like naturally. It's just so it's because I, you know, there's gonna be a day I wake up. Like I could wake up tomorrow and that shit will kick me, be in the back of my head, just like roaming around. And it's like now I know it's like, hey, it's gonna happen for like a day or two, and you know, just get through it, you know. And I'm like, okay,
I agree.
Like, yeah, like there's definitely people that need medicine, but I'm not that person.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, like I feel bad for the people that have to be on that medicine though, because it's like that's a dependency right there, you know.
See, and now you just hit the nail in the coffin on that part, bro. Because I had that back when I had a shitty job and I was trying to start up as a music producer. Everything was just like coming bombarding. I get really, really low. I was lonely in my place, you know, and my place wasn't the best place. It had all sorts of problems. There was like rats coming in and out, you know, even though my apartment is clean. The AC breaks down.
It's hot as hell in Florida. I feel bad, man.
Oh, bro. And then I get a 12-hour shift job, you know, on the weekends. So it's like nothing in my life was, you know, working
out. Yeah.
No, man. And I had to learn how to figured that out by myself. I didn't do anything without it, and I knew I was into that. I know I was into depression, and I just figured out like, okay, what is it that I gotta do to get me out of this? And then I started thinking happy stuff. Like, okay, what are the stuff that makes me happy? I love watching anime. Okay, shit. Let me watch a new series. How many episodes are there? Holy shit, there's like 500 episodes of this series. All right, let me watch first episode. I love it. I want to watch the whole thing. I get happy. Yeah. I love playing video games once in a while. I love playing Pokemon. I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I love going out and watch all the Marvel movies, make a day out of it, with my cousins, stuff like that. I started to figure out, it's like, oh, okay, I know what I gotta do to get me out of this depression, all that. I gotta get out of this job. I gotta get out of this shitty place. And I need to continue to do stuff that makes me happy. But obviously, for all those things to happen, I have to move forward with certain things. Like I had to look for a new job. I had to look for a new place. And it hits once in a while, but then after a certain while, like zen, man. And the thing I was gonna get into it is because I managed to figure this out on my own, and I'm happy to hear there's people out there that can do this on their own, because not many people, like you say, they're very dependent on drugs, and I'm in between that, because yes, there's certain drugs that can help you, like for example, like your head hurts, take a Tylenol, that actually helps you out. Yeah, take a Tylenol, like that. There's nothing wrong about it. But ADD, it's okay to take like what are those ADD like Ritalin or something. If it's very bad, it's okay, so that way you can focus. Now making a habit out of it or depending on it, that's a different ballgame. Trying not to be on that side, because because then that means that you're drug dependent. Like you can only function if you're on drugs,
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for, a lot of those people, because I mean, there's definitely like brain imbalances that get to that point where like they have to like base their life on that shit. Like I got anxiety ridden friends that like that can't get a job because of how bad their anxiety is, man. Like that, yeah, dude, like it fucks people up, man. Like they gotta either get like shit faced off of alcohol to be able to function like around people, like to talk, or like, they're just gonna be in their rooms, like it's a sad reality, but it's like, those medicines can help depending on the person,
No, and like I said, it's depending on the person. The drugs definitely can help the person, I still am a firm believer that if you can do this without it, and that you can actually do this, then don't rely on drugs. Just go for it, And I've never been to a psychiatrist or psychologist, but even I can definitely was able to identify the root cause of all my problems, And I feel like sometimes that's sometimes a lot of people cannot figure that out, and sometimes people will never figure it out. Sometimes people really like don't know why they actually feel like that. It just comes out naturally, and that actually breaks my heart. The fact that damn, like there's nothing that can get you out of that funk, But like the best thing I can tell you is like don't rely on drugs. Just do things that make you happy. Well, I don't have anything that makes you happy. Everybody in the world has probably have done one thing in their lives that make them feel happy or make them feel smile. One thing. There's always that one thing. You can't tell me like you hate everything and everything hates you. Like no, bro. Like I can tell you love milkshakes. Yeah, I love milkshakes. Oh, there you go.
Go get yourself a fucking milkshake.
Go get yourself a milkshake. Every time you're feeling down the dumps, get yourself a milkshake. You may gain a few pounds, but hey, you're happy, right? That's That's all that matters. That's all that matters,
The thing with me is that I don't like to dwell too much on it. Like I try not to worry too much about it. Like I just let it like run through its course on a day, where instead of me being like, yo, why the fuck am I depressed today? You know, I'm just like, all right, yo, let's be depressed today. Fuck it, you know. I'll get better tomorrow. You know, that's kind of how I roll, because it's like I don't like worrying too much.
Right.
You know, like I said, I'm a stress-free type of person. Like, I take shit on the chin. Like, oh, this bill's high. Okay, like I'll deal with it. Like, I'll deal with it. You know, it's just an example. So it's like, oh, I'm depressed today. Like, I'm gonna be down in the dumps. Whatever. You know, I'll get through it. You know, I don't like being like, oh, I need to get better today. I need to feel better today, or like, you know, I'm just like, yo, let me rest up. Let me do my thing. You know, that's how I take it.
And I commend you of that, man. I really do, bro. Because not everybody can do what you do, what I do. Like, they can identify themselves. Like, you know, if I'm in this situation, I'm in this situation, and I just pile through or just deal with it. You know, not many people can do that. A lot of people just chose to, I guess the word is, avoid feeling like that, or like try to not confront it or hold accountability of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different, you know. I've been through my fair shit. You know, you probably been through your fair shit. You know, some people haven't been through shit. You know, where they can't really like deal with it. So it's like it's a little bit different. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I agree. It's definitely very different for everyone else. The good thing about it is that if you know it, if you know how to deal with it, take advantage of it, because not everybody's very lucky to of doing stuff like that. In relation to that, do you actually get writer's block from it, and do you believe it?
I used to, like back when I was like younger, I used to freak out about writer's block. Right nowadays, I'm like, okay, I got tracks ready to release. Like, I don't got to worry too much, but I don't really see it as writer's block. I see it as like a fatigue where big shouts to, he's not 10 graphs anymore. He goes by Altair.
Shout out to our brother Altair, man.
Yes, sir.
Mark is the best.
Yeah, he actually brought that up when him and I talked about mental health a couple years ago on his stream. About it's more so writer's fatigue than a writer's block. It's more so like, oh, you've like used a lot of your brain, you know, let it cool down for a little bit, you know. So it's like, back then I used to freak out because I'm like, oh, I gotta pump tracks out like daily. Like, come on, let's do it. Nowadays, I'm like, I'm pretty good, you know. I don't gotta, you know. I'm not gonna like brag, but you know, I got a decent following. You know, I keep up with my followers. You know, I still post. You know, I'm just like, hey, there's gonna be music on the way. You know, but I'm not freaking out like, oh, what's gonna be the release afterwards? Like, I can't get something out. When I make something, I fucking make it. But it's like I don't stress too much anymore. Like with the whole writer's fatigue block thing.
And that's very interesting because, like, you're not the first person that I talk about this that's told me about writer's block being more like writer's fatigue. You know, I think I think you're right. I think I had when Mark came over to the show. I think we did talk about that in one of the earlier episodes, like episode 105 or something around there.
Yeah,
I think we definitely did cover some of that basis about, you know, like writer's block isn't really writer's block. It's just that you were tired of it. But I do enjoy listening to everyone's point of view of what writer's block is, because everybody gives me a different definition. Everybody gives me a different answer to it, you know. The most rarest one is that one, the fatigue, you know. And it makes more sense on the fatigue level, because I'm pretty sure, like, when you're not feeling well, or you're trying to write something and nothing comes out, it's not laziness, and it's not you're like mentally blocked. It's just like you squeeze yourself so much of your juices that nothing's coming up. I
don't like overwhelming or burning myself out.
Right.
You know, so like when I definitely like see that I can't make anything, I just exit out. You know, I exit out and I'm like, okay, let me try to get back into it the next day. Just because I've had a lot of experiences of younger me would freak out about it, and I'd be like, I need to get another track done. I need to make sure I'm up there, like done, ready to go. And I used to really stress the fuck out about like getting tracks out there, because it's like I used to really think like, yeah, the industry is a rapid thing. Like people are going to forget about me. Like I'm getting anxious. I'm like, oh fuck, no one's going to know who Forreign is by next week if I don't release something. Yeah, fuck no. I'm dope as shit. Like,
yeah,
I'll fucking, I'll people will know who I am next week nowadays. You know, like I know, like I'm cooling. You know, not to like be big dog over here, but it's like, you know, I'm definitely out of that like anxious feeling where people are going to forget who I was because I didn't upload this month. Right. I think my last track I uploaded like 8 to 9 months ago. I could look really quick. Like I don't upload like that much. I try to like upload music that has, or I try to make music that has a little bit more replay value.
Yeah.
So I don't have to upload all the time. Yeah. 9 months ago was Relapse on Crow's Nest Elite Volume 4. Like I make sure that my tracks, you know, people can play them over and over again.
Yeah, I'm looking over my track. I mean, I post every day on my channel, on my SoundCloud, the podcast, you know, but actual track, I'm trying to look over, and damn, I can't even. There you go. 9 months ago was the last time I released an original, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, and if it has replay value, you're all good.
Yeah,
it's all. I'd rather have a track have replay value where I can listen to it over and over again and not feel like a fatigue or like, oh, I'm fucking sick of this track already. I'd rather be like, holy shit, this is sick. Like, I listen to a lot of metal, and there's a song from Veil of Maya called Mikasa, and I've been listening to that shit on repeat since 2019. Yo. Like it's still one of my like daily listens, and I'm not sick of it. It's the replay value is very important. Like people will be like, oh, consistency is the key. But nowadays, it's back to the quality of the music for you to really like get out there again. You know what I mean?
Right.
People want more quality in music. I feel like they want more emotion back in the tracks instead of the lifeless shit we've been hearing for the past couple of years. You know, not trying to attack the scene or, you know, the listeners, but it's like it's something that I've noticed over the course of the couple of years.
That's actually a very good point that you pointed out. That many, like I feel that whole concept of consistency is there, but what do you value more, quality or quantity?
Yeah. I mean, that's I'm a big quality guy. You know, a lot of my favorite artists don't release all the time. You know, and when they do release something, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, yes. Like I get to hear some new shit from them and it's great. And then maybe it'll be another couple months, maybe a year, you know, and I'm all for it. You know, like I'm a big quality guy. You know, I don't want to hear the same sustained bass with like a synth on top of it, you know, with a vocal sample. That's like, you know, let's get rowdy in this bitch or some shit like that. You know, like I'm not, you know, I'm trying to listen to music. I listen to music, you know. I don't want to say I listen to I don't listen to a genre. I listen to music. That's the best. That's the best way to say it.
That's actually a very good point, especially from the producer standpoint. You know, not many people can actually differentiate themselves, like where they're listening to a genre or making a genre versus actually making music overall. It's just like I just don't define myself that I'm a dubstep producer. No, I define myself as an artist, as a producer, as a someone who
I'm a musician.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like a lot of people, I'm okay when they turn around and they've been, you know, trap people their whole lives and all of a sudden they're making house music. Like I may not fuck with it because I feel like it's boring, but the fact that it's making them happy and they're doing something different is like, hey, kudos, go get it, you know? And I like when I see a lot of bass producers who does house music now as well, because like that's good, guys. That's good. Like fuck anybody who tells you like, nah, stick to dubstep. Nah, stick to this.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. How about you just support the artist, the fact that they're doing something completely different out of their feel, and it sounds dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will say, big shouts to Inhuman. He is very big on me being creative. You know, he doesn't want, just the usual shit that, that I make. He doesn't want another, for people that are listening that might know it, another Black Sun EP. He wants something new and refreshing from me. Every time I send him something, he wants it to be new. I send him some out of the blue shit that's like not dubstep, and he's like, "This is fucking sick." He's like, "Make more of this." He's like, "Keep going." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man!" Like, I'm all for it. Like, I am guilty. I've made tracks that have sustained basses with some synths on it. I will say that, but it's something that I don't repeat. You know what I mean? Every track that I make, I try to make it different from the other one.
I'm a very simple man, and I like I love making dubstep, whether it's tear out or melodic. I fuck heavily with the melodic dubstep, man.
Same.
Because like it's so magic. It's so like you can do so much in there, man. And then you also, if you decided to like, let me just throw in a tear apart and just like rip it. It's just like, why not? Why not? It gives you so many liberties to do such a thing, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
When are you going to be uploading this, by the way? Do you have it on a day-to-day basis, by the way?
I have it on a weekly basis. So this will get aired by probably next month.
Okay.
So ish.
It might be a little bit later next month, maybe the month after. I'll be like, I have like a melodic track with trance at the end, like it's like my like my usual like guns, but in the terms of some melodic shit to it, like it's a big mixture of stuff. And then we're my collaborator, Digital Reject. We were like, fuck it, let's do some trance at the end. Like, fuck a second drop. Like, let's do it. Let's do a whole experience. Yeah, like it's great. And that's the big thing about music is like, and being an artist is your creative freedom that you have when like. Fuck the rules. Like, you don't need to be an industry standard.
Yes.
You break that industry standard and you become your own standard. Yes. You know what I mean?
Don't follow the trend. Be the trend, basically.
Yeah. I'm my own trend. Like people, people are like, "Oh, it sounds like this." I'm like, "No, it doesn't. It sounds like Forreign." Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. And that's something that I preach about to a lot of people who are trying to rise up. It's always good to sound you don't want to be associated or known by like, oh yeah. You kind of sound like Vandals, you gotta sound like 12, you kind of sound like Zombo, you kind of sound like Virtual Riot or Sudden Death or whoever like, no, you want to sound like you're Forreign. I'm Wolfson, that's my sound, that's it. And nobody like that, And that's when I tell a lot of these kids or anybody below my age is a kid. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I tell these kids that if you want to stand out, the simplest way to do it is by sound designing. And not just, and when I say sound designing, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I need to create a sound from Serum or Faceplant or Vital or Massive, whichever plugin you use. Like, not necessarily. Like, it's dope if you can do it, absolutely. But I have an issue with Serum, in which Serum made it like an industry standard to everybody, that it's very easy to do a simple growl or simple synth or whatnot. I hate that. I hate the fact that it made it easy. I mean, it's good. It's good that everybody has access to it and make it happen. But at a certain point, it becomes a little bit the same. Everybody starts to sound the same. Everybody knows the cleanest way to do it is by, FM to B, like basic shapes. Basic shapes is the cleanest way to do, simple stuff, So how long are we going to keep doing that stuff, That's where I tell people, all right, how about this? How about this? Do basic shades, create whatever the sound that you want to create, resample.
Resample.
resample the fuck out of it, add
Mm-hmm.
layers, add effects, add other stuff like I do. I add a granulator synthesizers on top of the resamples, and sometimes makes the most gnarliest and glitchiest sounds ever that I
Mm-hmm.
would never imagine. In fact, like my last song was very original. Everything I did it was just resample, layering,
Mm-hmm.
resample, effects, and then for some reason it just makes sense. It's just like for that one
Yeah.
sound. I learned that from a lot of artists like Modestep and Crimson Child and Careless Castle. Like they all
Mm-hmm.
do this whole trend, and it's like, dude, it makes fucking sense. See, guys,
Yeah.
do this. This is the way for you to stand out from others. Instead of being
Mm-hmm.
that regular dubstep guy that does Serum, fucking resample, make something out of it. In fact, man, make your life even easier. Just drag any random splice sample, make a drop out of that one sample.
Yeah.
You would never, you would have known the potential you will have.
Yeah. I will say though, like definitely like I would say that's a bigger tip for people that kind of know how to do all of that. I give like an okay for like newer artists that for example, like I started when like Getter was still on Firepower Records, and he was still doing like the heavier, growlier shit.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to do shit Getter did, or I was just getting into Code Pandorum, and I was like, oh, I want to make shit like this, and so like I would try to make that type of sounds, and then I would use all of that knowledge years later to make my own. So like I would say definitely like when you're first starting out and like you want to learn, try to replicate shit, but don't overuse it. Start using that knowledge of you trying to learn those like sound designs and make your own in a couple of years. That's how I did it. Like once I got like my own formula down. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And in that notion, like, do you believe as a producer, sound designing, is it a luxury or a necessity?
I would say 50-50 because I'm really into old school shit that's like very minimum but super heavy. Like for example, I have this playlist. Let me see. There's do you know 16-bit? So like their song Freezer 9000. Super simple of a drop, but it just goes so hard. Like it the song is how old? Let me look at it really quick. The song was from 2011. That's 11 years from now. I'm still playing that shit out. Like it pops out and it's like not crazy sound design. It's not crazy sound design now, but back then that shit was crazy back then. But I still play that shit out like it's fresh. Like
Damn,
so I would say it's a 50-50 because really sick sound design, a lot of people will pay attention. But sometimes it doesn't need to be super crazy shit. Sometimes simplicity is key, you know? For example, of like people that really like people's sound design, Space Laces, Moody Good, Fizo, Ominous is a big guy because his sound design is very like signature, and I feel like a lot of people like to replicate Ominous's sound design for sure. So another one is like Sudden Death. Like you could tell what a Sudden Death sound is. You could tell what a Moody Good like sound design is, or Space Laces, you know? So I would say it's definitely like a necessity, but also it's a luxury at the same time. That's why I give it that 50-50.
I always looked at it more. And by the way, there's no right or wrong on this answer. Like everybody has their opinions of it, and it also made sense, you know. So to each their own on that. But I will never question it, like, because everybody will always give me a different answer with that. My take out of it is that, like, I feel like it is a necessity. It shouldn't be a luxury. It should be a necessity for everybody who's trying to, you know, stand out from others. But should it be like your number one priority? No. I feel like it's okay to be in the top 5. I put it in my top 3, but your number one priority should be song structure and then mix and mastering, or more importantly, mixing than mastering, because mastering, there are times in which you don't need to master my tracks. You can if your mix is really, really good, all you just gotta do is just slap a limiter or a glue compressor or mastering level into the master chain, and boom, you got it. So mastering isn't really, really a necessity. Before, back then, yes, it is. But now it's like, whatever. Like, nobody gives a shit about the mastering.
Yeah, I mean, there's some tracks where like I try to master and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting it down. So I'm like, fuck it. It sounds fine, without it.
Some of my latest songs, like, I haven't mastered them at all. I just mixed them very good and made them very loud enough that people can like, holy crap, bro, this actually looks like tight as fuck. It looks big and dynamic range and all that crap. It's just like, I mixed them, because mastering for me, I don't know. I have a give and take with mastering, man. I don't know whether mastering is really, really worth it, and sometimes I feel mastering is like pointless. It's all different for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I mainly use mastering for polishing overall frequencies. So maybe it might be just one EQ that I have to throw on the master just to, edge a couple things down, give it an even mix. I make sure when I master, I'm not piercing my ears. I these are my babies.
Yeah,
under these. Yeah, I got to make sure I take care of them.
Yeah, we make our monies with these ears. Like the more you fuck up your ears, is like that. There goes your money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go to a lot of shows, but I definitely need to invest in like some high grade like earplugs for when I go to shows for sure though.
Oh, actually, you don't really need to invest that much. Like the earplugs that I have, they're called dubs, man. I only spend like $20 out of them, man. And bro, those earplugs are the best of the best. You can get them anywhere, even on Amazon. $20, like. And I guarantee you that's like the best $20 you can ever have, man. When you're in the clubs, you put those bad boys on, man. Man, they'll protect your eardrums all the way, man. And you can still hear them. You can still hear the music, but it'll protect them very, very much, man. And even even you can actually use them for DJing, to say that it's your turn on your set, and you got your fucking monitors blasting over to you with your headphones.
I actually just throw my headphones on. Like, I turn the cues off and I put my headphones on because I'm like, yo, this is too loud right now.
Yeah, no. I go old school DJing, which like I need to have like one ear out and one ear open. But over the years, it's like people don't realize that with those monitors blasting over to you, like it will fuck up your ears on the long run. So that's why I put my earplugs, those specific earplugs, and I can put that on my headphones and I can still hear them. And at the same time, I'm protecting my ear, so it's not fucking it up at all. Yeah. So yeah, man, like check those out, like, dubs. That's what it's called, DUBS.
For sure. Yeah, I'll definitely look at those. Absolutely. I might need to. I'll definitely look into them. I've known a couple like brands. It's just I need to like look into them. That's all.
Right. Now, are you actually like doing? Are you performing a lot of shows lately? Or are you actually being a promoter / DJ route?
So, I took a couple months of a break, just because I will say the industry got to me. So like I was like, fuck it. I don't want to do shows for a couple of months.
Right.
So after like November of last year until like July, I stopped taking shows. So back in July, I just played The Guilt in Orlando.
Dope. Dope.
Yeah. So big shouts to Bass Ascension, or that's their event. It's Bass Night. Their events are called Ascension Mondays. Big shouts to Lauren, fucking super dope guy. He's a super nice dude. When I went to Florida, he was like, "You're not fucking ready for what's about to happen tonight." And I don't express too much. You know, I keep all of that in on show day. You know, when I'm on stage, I make sure that it's all out. And so I'm like, oh, I bet. He's like, dude, you don't even know. Like, he's like hyping it up and everything. And it was deserved hype. Like, dude, it got packed out before I got on. Like, it was dope. It was my first ever Florida show. And it was a debut headliner at the Gilt, which is super dope for me. And then I have 2 shows in October in Pennsylvania. But that's kind of it at the moment. But I am actively taking bookings now.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope, man. So you're not even you don't associate yourself with the promoters anymore. Like, you're just now a fully booked artist. Like, if you want to book me, you gotta book me just to play at this show, and that's it.
Yeah, I've never like had to be a promoter anywhere where I live. So I'm in central Pennsylvania. There are no venues around me at all.
Oh,
yeah. So when I play a show that's the closest to me, it's about 1.5 hours to like 4 hours of a drive. Yeah. So there's nothing here. So I've never really had to do the whole promoter sell tickets to play a show thing. I will never do a fucking ticket deal. I will say that, fuck ticket deal promoters. Honestly, I will never do that shit. Like, I'll play, but I'm not going to be fucking hustling and selling tickets for you, you know? I'll play a good ass set, you know? Like, I know I can supply a good ass set, a good ass night for the people coming, but it's like, yeah, I don't care if that turns people down that, oh, it sounds like you can't sell tickets. How you fuck right off, all right? Like, you come to me and tell me, hey, it's a ticket deal. I'm going to tell you to suck my dick personally. Like,
reach.
Yeah, like that shit needs to stop. Like, you sound like you don't know how to throw shows properly if you're telling the artist to sell tickets. Like,
oh my God. If only you knew how it is here in South Florida. Well, I don't know how it is in Central Florida, but I know in South Florida it's like that, bro. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, Lauren didn't bring anything up about ticket sales or anything at all. Like, he's a promoter. He's how a promoter should be. Like, a really good dude.
And did he pay you for the booking, or did he pay you via like, let me get you an airplane ticket and come over and hang?
It was my first show, so yes, him and I negotiated. So yeah, like I got paid, I got a ticket, all that good stuff. Like, okay. I make sure I get taken care of.
That's good. That's good.
But
man.
Yeah. Don't let my manager know I said that. He might kick my ass. I can't talk numbers or anything.
We don't need to talk about numbers.
Yeah. He'll kick my fucking ass.
I just want to make sure that you were taken care of.
Yeah. Oh, I make sure.
That's good, because let me tell you, and this is my personal experience as well, and I see this a lot more right now that's happening, and it's something that I was also thinking about it today, coincidentally. The whole notion about being a promoter recruiting you and say you're a DJ or you do this, all right, but like, here's what you gotta do a few shows, like promote few shows, sell tickets, and post on social media, and I'll put you on the lineup. I was thinking about this today. I said that shit has to die. Like, that shit has to be no more, because fucking I went through that. Yeah. I had to sell stuff because I didn't know where it was. I was new in Miami. I didn't know how the game really works. And if I knew the stuff that I know now, I encourage people, and I will go back in time and tell everybody, do not fucking promote. Do not be a DJ promote. Needless to say, I didn't have a bad experience. I was taken care of in a matter. Like the promoters I fuck with, they did took care of me, and they did promise and deliver what they promised me for it. That I have no regrets on that. That being said, I wish I could have spent all those hours of promoting and spending and flyers handing out. I wish I could have used those hours on mastering my own craft.
Yeah.
Than to do all that crap. Because in the long run, as I see it, I could have gone way much more better off if I would have just stick mastering my own craft, and I could have been much more better off instead of wasting my time on doing that. And I tell that to everybody. Guys, do not become a DJ promoter. Like, no. Like, if they want to book you, make sure that they book you because you're dope, you're talented, you're humble, and you got all the skills to qualify for it. And yeah, and if they're gonna give you some sort of compensation, they better give you a compensation like that. I cannot speak numbers, but it better be something. It better be some sort of a compensation, not like, here's 10 tickets, go ahead and sell it, you keep the money, and that's your compensation. Fuck that, bro. Fuck that. And I was thinking about this today. It's like, bro, like, I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self, like 7 years ago, and say, God, yo, when this Life in Color tweet is about to go out, ignore it. Just focus on your music. You're gonna be all right. Just focus on your music and keep it going, bro. Keep it going, and you'll be well up. Because the whole thing is that you want the people to look at you looking at them. It shouldn't be like that. They should be looking at you, and they should be booking at you, you know?
Yeah.
And I wish I learned that lesson early on, and I tell this now to the newcomers, guys, don't fuck the whole DJ.
Don't fall for that ticket sale shit, honestly.
No, don't fall for it. And don't actually like do it. Like, don't actually go ahead and be one of those locals that open up for some of these DJs. Well, it is dope to put your name on it, but you're much more better off if you be the headliner instead of being the opener for the headliner. And that's what you're only gonna be known at, Sometimes some of these locals, I'm not throwing shade on any of my locals. I'm not doing that, guys. Hear me out. Some of these locals, they're talented as fuck, but I feel like their talents could be used elsewhere than just being an opener of a local set. They could be actually the headliner instead of them opening for the headliner, And I guess that there's times in which, sure, we need some local support in order, to fill in the room and give the headliner some breather. So when the headliner comes, it tats. Some of these kids don't know how the ropes really work, and it's up to us to let them know. Say, hey guys, you can actually make it without even selling one ticket, promoting one ticket. Like, you can actually make it by just being a talented producer, a talented DJ, and overall, and show them how good you are and how fast track you are heading out.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been through our personal shit with shows where we could give that information to newcomers, because a lot of newcomers, I mean, they got pure intentions of wanting to play a good show, and you gotta make sure that they're not being exploited. Thankfully I will say though, like, I've never been pushed to promote. I always do promote my flyers. Like, I promote every show that I play, of course, where I'm like, yo, I'm playing this, and I won't just make one post, I'll make sure I do a couple posts to get the word out, like, and the good thing is, when you respect a promoter because of their good intentions and their good motives, you feel like you want to push that show. I will say that when you have good chemistry with the promoter and you see that they're a good promoter and they know how to treat people right, you're going to be like, this dude deserves to be able to fill a room out. So fuck it, I'm going to share it. There are people that do deserve the share, but then it's like, if they're like the dickhead, oh, you got to sell the tickets, man. It's like, no, that's not how that should work, man. Like, those people aren't going to come back to the show because it's like it might be just your friends coming to see you because you had to sell those tickets.
Yeah. And then when you're the one of those openers, the people really don't give a shit about who's opening who. Like, they paid tickets to see the headliner. It's just that's the sad reality of it. They only pay to see the headliner. If it's a lineup in which everybody's like on an equal grounds, then that's different. That's different, But when it's, let's just say in the example of, Getter's doing the show, and then here's your local support. People don't really give a shit about the local support. They only want to see Getter. That's what they pay for, And mind you, there could be some dope locals opening for Ghetto. There is.
Yeah.
But people are not going to remember you.
I will say, so I opened for Subtronics once. So it was when he was doing the pavement raves back in late 2020. When he was doing like the drive-in show raves. Yeah. Those drive-in theater places.
Yeah.
So I opened for him, and this is just a personal experience because you're kind of right, like in some aspects. But granted, in that scale, everyone got the same amount of treatment of stage production, visuals, and everything. Because I was really the only one that wasn't really a part of their crew that was kind of doing the shows around. I was basically like someone that wasn't in the group doing like the pavement rave tour. So I thankfully got that position to open because it was pretty dope. I will say it was dope to be on that stage. Not everybody was there, and sometimes you're kind of right. A lot of people don't give a shit about the openers, and it really sucks because like some of these openers are fucking sick. Like I will say, like some people have good song choices, good DJs and whatnot,
and IDs as well. Sometimes some of these openers, they make their own music and they only play their own music, or they play their homies' music, which is also dope. And they only promote each other, and that's it. There's not one, song that say, "Oh, I've already heard this song before." Like, no, they're all different.
Yeah, I when I played down here at the Gill, I made sure to catch everybody's set. Even the person that was closing after me, I was like, "Hey, I do have work in the morning, but I'm gonna be here for a little bit of your set." And I wanted to hear everybody, and I wanted to get to know what their styles were. Sorry, I had a cough there. I've been like muting it the whole time, just in case. I don't want it to like come through.
You're doing a good job out of it. Like, I don't know if it's the suppressor that's actually like muting the cough, or it's actually you.
Yeah, no, I'm manually muting it, like just in case. Yeah, I don't want it to like at least come through like once for you. But yeah, like I was there for everybody. And I like to get to know the artists, and like I like to get to know the DJs and see what they're playing, and I'm not worried. Now this is a different topic, but it also kind of comes back to an opener. That thing where like some headliners bitch and moan about openers going harder than them.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, I told them, I was like, dude, go as hard as you want. I want you to enjoy yourself. I was like, play whatever the fuck you want, even if it's some hard shit. Enjoy yourself, and it's because I'm confident in my ability to have a good night.
Exactly.
Like I can confidently say I made their night great. I made that fucking Ascension Mondays a fucking good night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the biggest of guy. All right. I'm not like some crazy ass headliner. I know that, but if I ever do headline a show, I don't give a shit what people play. I want people to fucking do their thing. I want them to be them.
Right.
They don't have to like mask, who they have to be. Like, for example, do you know Chime? So I did a two-day Pennsylvania stop with Chime, and both nights I fucking played my like tear out shit. I did it with Virtual Riot as well. Like, like I played heavy shit, but it worked, and it's like, you don't need to have limits for the night to be good. And I mean, granted, like at the time, even at the time then, people know who, I was and know what I play out. So it might be a bit different, So I'm kind of basing it on, people do kind of know what I play out, so they know what's going to happen. But yeah, like even though I'm playing like Tear Out or some like heavier track than the headliner, they're still putting on really good fucking shows. They have good crowd control, good like energy control. Their presence is great. If a headliner's bitching, they're just not doing their job right.
Thank you. I was about to say, like, most of these headliners, when they say shit like that, they're just a bunch of bitches, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just drama bitches. You know what? Let me tell you a story. The last show that I did, before I stopped DJing and focus on my shit, was opening for Borgor,
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, no, I ended that show with a note, and the promoter came back to me saying like, "Hey, I need your SoundCloud so I can send it to Borgor's people." I'm like, sure, no problem. Here's my SoundCloud. They came back to me say, "Hey, so just so you know, like Borgor's people want you to play nothing that's bass, only house music." What?
Yeah. What the fuck?
What? Like, yeah, no, they don't want you to go hard on before Borgor. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a house DJ. I'm a bass DJ. Like I play trap, dubstep, and whatnot, bro. Like you can't just go ahead and say to me, like, yeah, just play his house for Borgor, so I don't go over. It's like, no, fuck him. Like honestly, that was the day that I legit stopped listening to Borgor or stop, following him because it really pissed me off that he had the audacity to or his team or whoever had the audacity to go ahead and say like, no, because you're a bass producer, you need to play house. It's like that makes no sense. And so at that day, I played bass, and I played 10 of my songs and a couple of others. And at that time, it was a time when my brother Nitty Gritty, shout out to him, he was rising up, and I had him over on my stage, and I put out some of his tracks and our collab in it, and I literally put the middle finger on Borgor overall, saying like, motherfucker, you can't go ahead and tell me what I can or cannot play. Just because you're afraid or you're insecurity that I may actually have a great show than you. Like that's your own security. If you know if you know that you cannot have other people play over you, that's because your sets are weak, that your songs are weak, and that you need something to like push the envelope in order for people to captivate it, And and since then I've been following that whole trend about like, fuck all these crybabies who say like, nah, you don't ever go over. It's like, you know what? If I'm a headliner, I welcome it. Because like you say, you want people to have fun, but I want people for them to actually, to show people their energy. Show them.
How's it going to be a benefit for the opener to be on that show if they can't show off who they are?
Exactly. Oh, so we got to cater down to whatever the artist says? No, fuck that. There are ways to go hard without, overstepping the bounds to the headliner. There are ways. Absolutely. And still you can still go even harder by not playing any of the songs that they will play that. There, like I said, there's ways. I say I always welcome it. I always will go hard, man, because at least in my perspective, it gives me a sort of a competition, It's like, oh shit, you went harder than me. Dan, I need to step up my game. I need to all right. I cannot open it with this song. I need to open it with this song. and then we leave a mark with it, So stuff like that, bro. Like
I mean, the goodies that I have, I don't worry, I mean, everybody's set is different, you know,
Yeah.
and I just know like I would say, you know, outside of just being a DJ, I perform with my set. You know, I talk, I talk to the crowd, I interact with them, like you know, I make sure, you know, they can be involved in it, you know, and I try to be, you know, not just someone that's pressing play and transitioning.
Right.
You know, I try to make sure, you know, man, I'm jumping around with the crowd, you know, I'm interacting with them, being like, yo, what the fuck is up? You know, they go, ah, you know, like I you know, the last song I played, I went into the crowd and like jumped around with them, you know, shit like that. Like,
shit.
yeah, like I try to be with the crowd as well. And, you know, I can confidently say like, you know, I don't got to worry about what other people are playing because I know that I'm going to have a good set,
Mhm.
you know, but there's a pre-show nerve where you're just like, oh fuck, are people going to fuck with my set? Like when I was playing, for example, actually a lot of the shows that I play, sometimes a couple of the DJs before me,
Right.
they play either like rhythm or like wook bass,
Mm.
and I'm like, yo, I got shit from like Crow's Nest on my USB. Like, I'm like, I got like heavy shit on here. I'm like, are people gonna like fuck with this? So I'm like asking my friends that are from around. I'm like, yo, are they gonna like fuck with what I play out? And they're like, dude, yeah, like, don't worry. I'm like, okay. So like, I get nervous right before I click play. But you know, before I click play, I'm always like, what's up? I'm Forreign. I play a mixture of heavy electronic music. You know, like I let them know what's about to happen. But you know, there's different definitions from everybody that says heavy electronic music. You know what I mean? Like I'll start out with a fucking metal track. You know, like I'll fucking go hard straight from the beginning. You know, there's all different types of like heavy. It could be the flow, it could be just the sounds in general. For example, do you know Muerte?
I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard only a few. I haven't heard. I've heard his name. I haven't got the chance to listen to his music.
Mhm.
But
So
people
some
talk good about him.
so some of the songs, they're fucking heavy hitters,
Mhm.
but they're not like crazy like noises with nutty ass like gun synths with some crazy growls.
Mhm.
They're really like bass heavy, and but they have that like grit to them.
Right.
And I don't know the best way to explain it, but like that's another type of heavy, you know, that can mix in with like some Midnight Tyrannosaurus, you know.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like it could go from, you know, this like deep bass fucking this fucking Midnight T where you're you know, like I'm very big on like sequencing my tracks in my set list. I plan my sets the way I want. I know a lot of people don't do that where they'll just play tracks, but it's like I want this track to mix with this track because I think this would mix in well. You know?
Yeah.
I sit down and be like, okay, what fucking fire am I showing them tonight? You know, like yeah. Like I will say a part of my set is a list of originals
Mhm.
and then friends and favorites. So I do have like a sequence of like how I show my tracks off for sure.
Okay.
Because a lot of my tracks, I would say, all have different vibes from my newest stuff to some of my older stuff. Some of it can be more rhythmic, in grit. Some of it is more like heavy hitting. And I gotta somehow sequence them right for me to mix them in right. Because some tracks they won't mix in perfectly. That's where you got to find the middle ground and stuff like that. Yeah.
Man, I like that. I fuck with it a lot, man. Especially those unique original sets and how you manage to actually like
Yeah.
playlist them, you know? And I hate when people actually have an issue with, you know, organizing your sets and try to go with the flow or feel or go with what you know what words and have because you have already a playlist in which you already know like you can play this from beginning to end and the set was dope. And I hate when people criticize about that. It's like, dude, like, did you enjoy the set? that's all that matters. Like, who gives a shit if it's like pre playlist, you know, that goes song to song. Now, you should go about if the whole thing was already pre-recorded and all he's doing is just making the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't pre-record. I feel like it'd be boring up there. Because if you're just standing up there for 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending, why would you just like let one thing play, you know, and act like you're like faking it, you know? I feel like that's a part of the fun of mixing it in. Because
it's the adrenaline.
Yeah. Because like if you fuck up, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you're like, oh shit, let me make sure this shit's like good, you know? Sure, like pre-recorded, you don't gotta worry about fucking up, but it's like I don't mind fucking up every now and then. Because I'll fuck up and I'll be like, yo, I fucked up, my bad. Like I'll be like, yo, my bad, y'all. or I'll talk to the crowd, I'll be like, yo, you heard that shit? Like that was not good. Like I'll transition into the track.
See, and that's a great way to break the ice. Just to go and say, see, guys, it happens to everybody. I'm not perfect, but guess what? You're having a good time, right? Bam. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be funny that on pre-recorded set he actually fucks it up and still like, oh yeah, I fuck it up.
In the pre-recorded set. I would say so they have to have it on at least one CDJ.
Yes.
I press Q a fuck ton.
Yeah.
In counting, in transitioning, you know, there's times where I cue the wrong track and it stops and I'm like, oh fuck, wrong song, you know? I always thought about, you know, if a pre-recorded set gets cued live, like then you're like, oh no. Yeah. See, I don't have that problem because I'll pre-record my shit, so I don't know what would happen, you know? So I'm cooling.
No, I have memory cue plus hot cues.
Yep.
Like there are times in which I feel like the first intro and then you immediately go with the second drop, it goes just perfectly, you know? Mm-hmm. And that just makes it very unique to the set. It's like, oh fuck, I was expecting this, but no, you got me this, you know? Whoa, you know, the wow factor and all that, you know? And yeah, bro, like I have everything all queued up with colors and everything looking pretty. Just so, you know, like when the count is like, okay, when this shit hits, like, all right, this is when you start mixing and whatnot, bro. Like, oh yeah, it's just part of it. It's just, that's the fun of it, you know, the whole mixing aspect, you know, the adrenaline kicks in and you start going like, ooh, let's go.
Like when I go through my selection of tracks, you'll probably fucking catch me smiling because I'm like, oh shit, this song's about to be out next. Like, oh, like I get, like I'm so excited with all the tracks that I play out. You know, I enjoy every track that I play. You know, I make sure they don't bore me. I'm very picky with my song selection, so I feel like if I like that song, they're gonna like that song. You know, like
that's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm like I said, I'm pretty picky, so it's like it takes a little bit to shape my sets, I will say. Once I do, and it's like my favorite set ever.
And you said yourself that most of your sets is all the majority of that are just originals and IDs from your homies.
Yeah. Let me look. Yeah, about like half of my set was originals, and then I have tracks from unreleased music from my friends and some songs that are released that some people might know. You know, I don't play like tracks. The only tracks that I would say that people might know are like a Murata track or a Midnight Tea track that I have. You know, but I try to play I try to play the tracks that aren't like being played all the time.
Right.
So, but yeah, most of the tracks that I have are usually just unreleased goodies. Just because, you know, I want to show off my friends, you know, I want to get, and like if someone records this part of the set, I could be like, yo, look what I got. I got a video for you. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I love the feeling of getting videos of my tracks being played out So I'm like, fuck it. Like, I want to do that for other people too. But I got to make sure I believe in those tracks. You know, I believe in those tracks and I want to play them out.
And I was actually about to ask you about that. You know, like the two things I was gonna ask you is like, you know, how long does it usually take you to do these tracks, and what's your creative process behind it?
Yeah, okay. It depends on the track and how like amped I am to make it.
Okay.
So usually I can make a track in a week, or it might take me 2 months.
Oh, okay.
So I mainly start off with sound design.
Mm-hmm.
I already have a set of drums that I enjoy. Like, I know my structure. But my sound design is where the whole theme starts. So like, if I want to get, so for example, my most latest track that's on like released everywhere is called Relapse. And that song is about a depressive relapse. And what really gets me is the sound design in the drop. So the sound design is really a mixture of heavier, lower frequencies, scrambling them up and fucking up on like a simple saw sub, but I make sure that it's like, I don't even know how to explain. It's like just distortion frequencies clashing at one another to make a very sick sound. But it's like, that's how it sounds like in here. And like, what the fuck is going on with me? You know? So it really depends on, you know, which track that I'm talking about. Because they're all different. A lot of them are differently made. And so like with that one, I made that shit maybe in like 2 weeks because I was getting the emotions out. It was already out. And I'm like, this shit is sick. Let me finish this. Right. And like with how, and I'm like, okay, with this song, this has a really heavy hitter sound design where like whenever I play this shit out, everybody goes, well, like they fuck with it. So yeah. I do like a low key intro and, you know, with like not like a super hype buildup, but like a very impactful buildup, you know, that are like, oh shit, something's about to happen. And maybe they don't expect what's about to happen, but I kind of mainly start out with sound design on how I'm feeling. You know, if I want to have like a more rhythmic sound design, because I'm like, you know, let me go through my East Coast roots real quick. Let me get some bounce to it. You know, right. I do that, or I'm like, okay, this is what I want to make today. So it really just all depends on like how I'm feeling and what I want to do. Do I want to do some fucked up frequency type shit? Do I want to do this type of shit? Some songs, like I said, could be made in like 2 weeks or 2 months.
And is that the same issue when you're actually doing collaborations with other people?
I'll admit, I'm really bad at collabs.
Okay. Me too. We got something in common.
So there's times where I'm like, hey, I have a project I can't do, and I'll send it to them. They'll be like, I got you. I got the perfect idea. Couple weeks later, full track's done. Sometimes they'll send me stems and I can get it done pretty quickly, or it takes me a long time to really get something. Like there's a couple tracks that like it's taken me 6 months to a year to finally get an idea down where I can send it back to them. But it's also because I'm working on my own other originals that I have ideas for right now. So I try not to stack tracks up at once where I'm like, okay, shit, I got to work on this one next. So I got to work on this one. I like to do things one at a time. So I focus on one track.
Right.
And don't worry about the others. Now I focus on it. And if I can't do anything, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let me try the other track today, you know? But I'm not like, okay, let me do like 10 minutes of work on this track. Let me go to the next one. Let me do some 10 minutes on there, you know, because I got like a bunch of tracks, a bunch of whips in the back, you know? If I can't do something with it, I leave it alone.
That's pretty good. And have you ever had like any experience when it comes to sending these tracks to labels, or you prefer going the independent route and just release it on your own?
50-50. I will say a lot of labels don't respond in their emails. You kind of have to contact them directly nowadays, or they just have to be interested in you.
Ain't that the bitch?
Yeah, so I will say they do respond, but it just takes a while. And here's the thing. I'm not if you're taking 6 months to respond to me from tracks I made a year and a half ago, I already made new tracks.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking release these. All right. I want to submit you these new tracks now, So it becomes obsolete. So yeah, you kind of have to work with them directly. For example, like when I first got on Crow's Nest, people were like, "Oh, how'd you get on Crow's Nest? Like, what's their email?" I'm like, "Oh, I built a relationship with Sven over the years and showed him my music." But mainly Crow's Nest is a more so like I would say family oriented. Like you got to have a bond with that shit, it's not like just some regular ass label where you release and then you want to go to the next. That's a family right there. I'm a part of the Crow's Nest family. But
I agree.
Yeah, but there's some tracks where I don't think they fit on those, and I want to self-release them. Like for example, my next EP is getting I'm self-releasing, but I'm also self-funding, so it's taking a little bit. So it's like I got to pay for the artwork, got to pay for certain promotion. I talked to someone that knows a bit more on promotion on how to get songs out. So it's like you got to save money for that, get video, all that good stuff. And so I do always try to submit to labels, but I don't fret too much. Like, I used to send a lot of music to Never Say Die. And I will say the good thing about Never Say Die is they used to get back to me in like 2 days to a week. And they're pretty good with like, hey, keep sending more tracks, but these tracks we decided to turn them down. I'm like, okay, thanks for responding at least, but I do get labels can be busy. For example, like Disciple, like they're the biggest dubstep label at this point right now. Their email is probably bombarded. So I don't get a response for like, I think it's been a year since I sent the email, and that's fine. I don't really send them emails anymore. I mostly work personally with labels. So, it's nowadays it's like you gotta get to know the person running the label before working with them.
Something that I always tell people about, sending demos to labels, I tend to tell people to stay away from that. The majority, I'm not saying everybody, people, please stop quoting me and say like, oh, you say every label is the same. Like, no, not every label is the same. Some labels, they do take care of you. Some labels, they do listen to your demos. And I've mentioned some of them. But like the grand majority of them, it's just a spam folder for them. How I know this is because I've done experiments about this. I've talked to A&Rs. I've talked to people who used to be A&Rs, and they tell me these type of stories on the side. And like, just say, hey, this is how it really works. And people are really not listening to your songs. They're just like, whatever. I'm like, holy fuck, this is so broken, bro. So I tell people, it's like, guys, don't stress about sending demos to labels. And in fact, that shouldn't be your priority. Your priority should be them looking at you, not you looking at them,
Yep. And that's sorry, go ahead.
And I'll finish it up with this. And that the way I tell people is like what you say, build relationship with the people, make some business. Something that I did with the label Hybrid Trap, right? I didn't release on the Hybrid Trap because I knew the guys. No, I offered them my service to them. I say like, hey guys, just so I'm a up-and-coming dubstep producer. I'm trying to release tracks. If you're dope, here's some of my tracks. But also, if you guys are down for you guys to release some vocal packs, I'm pretty sure you guys will. A lot of up-and-coming producers will love to do vocal packs for pre-drops. I do vocal packs. I can share with you guys in exchange. Just tell people to follow me or whatnot, and from there they say like, yo, dope, we can release a strong drop central, and yeah, bro, we can have this vocal pack for Hybrid Trap. We'll push it through and all that yada yada yada, and you build a relationship with those guys, and that's exactly how it is on every label. You try to find, you offer your service to them. that's how it normally works. You offer a sort of a service. Most of the time it's for free. If you're good at artwork and you say, hey guys, I will be dope if you guys like this type of artwork, for a song or whatnot. I'm an up and coming producer. And 9 times out of 10, they'll answer you back, say, yo, we'll be dope to use this, and yeah, absolutely, send some songs over here, man. Because then you're not being like the typical guy, the typical bro says like, yo, bro, check out my track, bro. Fire, it's fire. My demo is fire, bro. I got so and so playing this song, like, no, you're actually being much more humbled and offering some service, so that way they say, oh, strictly business. We just want to do your part, we want to do our part, and whatever we gotta do, we'll work something out and establish a relationship with them. And another one, which is the last bit I'm gonna say, another way to actually engage with a label, if you still want to get released on a label, DM or message some of these artists who are in these labels, or release songs on these labels, show them how, hey, I love your tracks and this and that. I did a song that's similar to yours that got inspired by it. Would like for your feedback.
Yeah.
And most of the time, these guys are gonna be like, yo, this song is dope. Yeah. Or yeah, I love it. You should work on this, and that. And if you do that, man, it's a guarantee, a banger for sure, this and that. And most of the time, they're gonna download the song, they'll play it, and sometimes some of these A&Rs are gonna question those songs and be like, yo, is that song is yours? Like, nah, man, it's this kid right here. I'm playing his track. You should look at them. And that's how you get no, bro.
Yeah. One thing you were talking about is how people were like, yeah, I got this track played by so and so. So I did a interview feedback session podcast thing with Grimefest, I think a year and a half ago. I think around 2 years ago as well. And this dude was like, can you guys give me feedback on this track and listen to it? And then they were like, come on, dude, it got played out by or he was like, yeah, I know these guys. He's like ISO XO and like this other dude. And I like stopped the feedback and I was like, dude, I don't give a shit who you know. Like, I was like, that's not how you're going to get me to listen to your shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, you could tell them that I don't give a shit about who you associate with. I'm like, that's going to make me not want to listen to it. And I said, I'm going to skip your track. Like, I don't, don't try to play the name. Don't try to play the names game with me. If this song
has got played by so-and-so, why you need my feedback? I'm pretty sure you're already in a good fast track, right? If your song got played by its session, why do you need me for feedback? So like,
exactly.
Get out of here, bro. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. We got like a few more, and we can end it with a nice little note right here, man. One of the things I definitely wanted to ask you was, why is it that you chose your name to be Forreign? Okay,
so I'm Middle Eastern. My dad is from Iraq, so I'm Iraqi descent. So when I was like 13, I was like, I want to make a name, I want to make something that kind of resembles me. I'm like, I'm pretty foreign. So I put an extra R to it. So it's just the word foreign with an extra R. And I did that because I'm Middle Eastern. So yeah, it's and that's the only thing, like that's how I did it. And for some reason, people just don't know how to spell foreign with an extra R. I found that out. So I don't know how people could fuck that word up, but hey, whatever. They're like, oh, I didn't know it just because there's an extra R. It's like it's just the regular spelling, just with an extra R. Like, but yeah, I was just like, oh, this would be dope, and it just stuck with me ever since. Like, I've had a couple of different names before, but they never like worked. They didn't stick. It was whatever. I was younger at the time when I was making these names, so I was like, okay, let me get a name that sticks. Let me have something that's pretty cool. And I would say Forreign is a pretty good name, and it stretches out. I would say it's nothing. I need to do a rebrand or a rename or anything. Looking on it, I'm the only Forreign. I will say though, when you do type in Forreign on like YouTube or something, it'll take you to that, I think, Trey Songz song Forreign. But then,
really?
but it's because they try to do name correction. So it'll say showing results to Forreign with one R instead of Forreign with two R's.
Right.
So that's the one thing that sucks. But still, like, no one else had it, and I made sure no one else did. And yeah, that's me. Everybody knows that it's me if they know who Forreign is. I would say, like, there's definitely a big majority of people that do know the name. Either it came across or, they heard it in a discussion before or something, like when I bring it up there, people that might not know my face are like, oh, I've heard the name before. And
right.
like, I feel like it's not like a crazy ass name, but I would say it's still unique in a way.
Well, that's good, man. That's good. Some similarities. For one moment, I thought you were Mexican.
Really? Yeah, I do get that a lot.
Yeah.
When I used to work at like Sam's Club or Lowe's or something, people would call me like, they'd be like, "Oh, you're my cousin Jose." I'm like, "No, my name's Wasam, man. I'm a different ethnicity, So yeah, I'm like, hey, I hate to break it to you, but I'm Middle Eastern. I'm not Hispanic or anything.
Hey, well, that makes us to my mom's side of the family is Lebanese.
Word.
So I got my Lebanese heritage on that one. So and it's funny because I was born in Puerto Rico, so we got like a multiracial in there.
Word. Yeah, I was born in Florida. I just moved up here with my mom. So
See, we got our Middle Eastern roots over there, man.
Yeah. I need to channel them a little bit more on my intros. I'll be honest. Someone that's pretty good at that, Sultan, dude. That motherfucker is really good on his like Middle Eastern like flow to it.
You know who's also good as well? Kashmir is also very good at it, and he preaches and he tells everybody that he's from Desi, or at least his family is from Desi, and his music and his videos, like everything's very Indian like. So it's like that's dope, that you embrace your culture like that. I think someone else does it. No. I was gonna say Dr. Ozzy, but no, Dr. Ozzy is from the Middle East, but he doesn't. I don't think I've seen some of his music embrace in that realm like Sultan and Kashmir does.
Yeah. No, I would say he does like he used to be more so in like the bro step realm.
Yeah.
So like he kind of has like that more like melodic elements to his stuff.
But it's dope, man. We need to keep repping at it, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm never ashamed to say that I'm Middle Eastern or anything like that. I mean, if someone tries to threaten me or make fun of me, I mean, I'm just gonna tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, not my problem that you don't like it,
That's what's up, man. Keep it up, brother. Up to this point, what has been your greatest accomplishment, and what are you hoping to accomplish in the near future?
So yeah, like ever since I was younger, I've always wanted to be on Crow's Nest. So that's always going to be like my number one accomplishment is being a part of the family there.
Dope.
Yeah, I was there from like the start of it. I used to bug Mark all the time when I was younger. If you're cool with him, you can ask him about me. I'd be like, yo, how do I get on Crow's Nest? Like, you guys are so cool. I'm
gonna talk to him shortly after this.
Yeah, when I was like 15, 16 years old, I was like, oh, dude, I always wanted to be on Crow's Nest. Like, how do I get on? And he was very good at giving me advice at the time. And I would say that is like my like number one accomplishment in music, because that was a very big goal of mine for years. And finally getting that chance and showing that I can do it, like I could show off that you could start from nothing, and be something.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Now, before we get to this last question that I got for you, man.
What up, dude?
Usually I give this moment to let people know about something about me or something about within the industry that I've been within. So I always ask the people who I interview now, is like, is there a particular question that you want to know about me, or want to know the things that I know about the industry, or things about, like, hey, what do you think about this, or how do you approach this and that, stuff like that? Because I've been in the industry for almost
17 years is what you said.
17 years, bro. And I've seen the ins and outs. I've been on the ins and on the outs. I've been shadow banned before. I'm pretty sure I'm still am, because my podcast hasn't taken off yet. Because I don't burn bridges. People burn bridges to me, and I just know a lot of fuck shits and ugly sides to the industry. It's that
I'm definitely aware of all the back end shit too.
Yeah, I mean, I made my whole podcast based on that, so people know the truth out of it, But if you haven't had the chance to look at them, ask away if there's something in particular that you always want to figure out or think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest interesting thing that you did bring up is, like, you've been in this shit for 17 years. What was your first genre? Like, how did you get into dubstep? So like, was it always like you were into dub ever since? Like, even from 17 years ago, or did you like find, like a song that you got really interested in, and then like jumped into it?
So the funny story about that is that, because like I told you, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, right? And Puerto Rico is well known in the world for having the best reggaeton music and salsa songs, So
yeah,
obviously I was a reggaeton DJ for many years. When I started hitting the club scene, I started to go a little bit more housey or more commercial and performance like, because that's what people, they don't want to. You'll be surprised how many clubs and bars that I DJ, they strictly say, I don't want any reggaeton here. So imagine me.
Oh, really?
Me, a reggaeton DJ, and telling me no reggaeton. I'm like, fuck. So I have to like found ways to get the people crowd going. And that's where I started, like, with hip hop, rap, and then house music or format, shit like that, just to keep it going, just to get it. And people fuck with it so much that they kept it going. And I feel like I love house music at that time, when it was like the big room era, when it was the Avicii levels.
Yeah.
When it was, Martin Garrix at the time, we're talking about, 2010, 2011, 2014, the big room era. I said myself, like, I want to be in those festivals. Like, what is it that I have to do to get to those festivals? And that's where I at that time, my mentor, he's a underground tech house, G house, acid house DJ and producer. I asked him what I got to do, because he played in EDC Puerto Rico, and he played on other festivals in Miami Music Week. He told me, it's like, you want to be on this? You need to start making music. I'm like, damn, okay. I'm not a musician, but I'll start. I'll start. So my journey became from reggaeton to playing, and then starting to make house music. And then around that time, my love with dubstep started to grow little by little, and drum and bass as well.
Yeah.
I fuck with melodic drum and bass. I fuck with it so much. But the problem is that I was too afraid to do it, because I don't know how to start any of this glitchy shit, or I don't know where do you go with it, So it wasn't until I moved to Miami and went to school for audio engineering where I met my brother Nitty Gritty. At that time, he was Ricky Mears, where he showed me some of the ropes, and he showed me what dubstep is about, and what melodic dubstep. He showed me what melodic dubstep is, because he was very well known on the melodic dubstep side, and I fuck with his songs a lot. And then it opened my heart a little bit more, that I say, like, I want to go with dubstep. And then after that, I was just bass music all the way, man. And
Nice.
yeah, that was just my trajectory. Like a big detail and long story short, reggaeton, house, and now to where I am right now in bass. And I'm happy to stay where I am in bass. Like I love it. I love listening to any single bass music song, bro. Especially the whole future bass, chill step, future rhythm, melodic dubstep, you name it, bro. I love listening to it. And I'm happily I was able to get down to do one melodic dubstep with Mantic and Infinite. Shout out to Ryan and Robbie, man. Great people, man. And,
oh yeah.
And I can't wait until we release that song. It's gonna be the sickest thing ever, man. I really loved that. It was a great project that I'm so happy that these guys got behind it very quickly. And I was like, bruh. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. And I'm also looking forward to do an EP that involves, tear out stuff and melodic stuff. But
yeah,
the whole concept of the EP is more about my trajectory as a producer, how my life in this industry was a roller coaster, really. Like I have my highest moments, then I have my down moments, and I go up again and then down and up and down into now this steady road that I am right now. So that's where it's going through. And that's basically my whole trajectory bass music, bro.
Nice. When you were getting into dubstep slowly, I would say, who was like someone you looked up to?
Oh,
I mean, I understand that, like, around the time in that 2011, 2014 era, I understand that like Skrillex was getting big, and then there was Kill the Noise. Dylan Francis was doing some like dubstep-y type
somewhere
shit too.
around. He was he was actually experimenting a lot more on the Moomba and DMB for some reason.
Yeah, I would say even like Porter Robinson back then too had some.
Oh yeah,
some Porter Robinson stuff also.
Porter Robinson started with dubstep. Yeah.
Who was like your main influences early on? Because I mean, when I was talking about it, mine was like Getter and Code Pandora. What was yours? Because you were a lot earlier than I was.
No, definitely. I started listening to dubstep when Skrillex came about, when the Scary Monsters Night Sprite, and then when he did Levels remix and Cinema remix and First of the Year Equinox. Skrillex is definitely my number 3. Skrillex was the reason why I started listening to dubstep. Zomboy was my inspiration to, like, I want to sound like Zomboy most of the time. I fuck with Zomboy so much. Even to this day, there's some tracks.
Yeah, he's sick.
No, absolutely. He's sick. There's no doubt about it. And his level of mixing is just like astronomical. Like, he is very good on the mixing part. I will say there's some songs that I don't like about Zomboy because it's like, fuck, bro, you could have done this a lot better, or you fucked up this part, stuff like that. But needless to say, that's definitely my number 2. And I guess my main person that I looked up to, because it's funny that I've met both my heroes, Skrillex and Zomboy, plenty of times, and they're great people to talk to, and they were amazing and everything. But my number 1 is actually Rob Swire from Pendulum. And
yes, dude. Hell yeah. I've been like getting into him a little bit more now. And dude has an amazing voice. I will say that. Amazing ass voice. Pendulum as a whole, Knife Party, like, dude, so fucking good, man.
I'm just telling you, like, he is like, I just don't know anyone like Rob Swire can do, bro. Like, nobody can reach it to this level. The fact that he came from a band to do Pendulum, like a drum and bass band, and make it a career out of it, and then all of a sudden decided to do a side project, that was Knife Party. It was supposed to be a side project. It wasn't supposed to be something that would take off, and took off on a brainstorm, like, and people went like what the fuck is Centipede? Like, what the fuck is Rage the Valley? What the fuck is Bonfire?
Yeah.
And the fact that he sings on some of these gnarly songs, like,
yeah. My first knife party song was Fire Hive. When I heard that back then, yeah, I was like, so this was like before like I was getting into like dubstep fully, like when I found Getter and all those. So like I was like, this is the nastiest shit I've ever heard. Like, I'm like, ooh, when I heard it for the first time, and like, oh, it's so nice.
Bro. I think a knife party, like, I've heard every knife party song, but I feel like Bonfire was probably my favorite one that captivated me.
Dude, that
like,
that energy is it's unmatchable. It's so good.
And it's because it's like in that same BPM of drum and bass. I feel that's why the energy itself is like high intensity, because you can mix it up with another drum and bass song and you'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a full another like people in that era that I was really into was all of the Circus Records people, like Slum Dogs,
Dr. B, Flux Pavilion,
Fun Case, all of those guys, Cookie Monster, all of them,
Cookie Monster, yes, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Like that whole crew there, like when Circus Records was like first starting out, and all of them, dude, it was. Man, I bought all of their shit on like iTunes. I used to ask my dad for iTunes cards. I'd be like, I need some songs, and I'd get their shit.
Bro,
like,
you're right. I remember that time with Circus was fire, bro. I mean, still is, but that then it was like in those early days. I remember some of the I mean, who could not forget the song that still plays to this day, which Flood's song, I Can't Stop.
That's so good.
To this day, you still play it and people will just go ballistic with it.
Yeah. Bass Cannon, that's another one.
Bass Cannon.
There's a lot of Circus classics that I feel like,
Spaghetti.
Oh my God. That's a crazy one too. I couldn't even tell you. There's so many classics there. Like they're definitely a part of that movement that like made dubstep how it is. I will say, like they're so good.
Absolutely. I was happy enough that I could be part of that movement. Even to this day, I was like, wow, bro, I remember that wave when dubstep really came. But if you gotta give the flowers and the props, you have to give the props to Skrillex, because Skrillex made dubstep mainstream. I don't care what anybody says. Like,
you're right.
Excision was still playing, but everything was so underground. Nothing was just like out there, and Skrillex paved the way to make dubstep to be part of the mainstream or be its own genre, to be as big as it is. It's because of him we have festivals that are dedicated of just strictly dubstep. We have so many talented artists. Like, you gotta give your props to it. Like, sure, there are other pioneers that been longer than Skrillex. Whatever, okay, I get it. They're there, but nobody made such a big impact like Skrillex did that make this genre like to where it is right now.
Spot on, dude. I have nothing else to add about that. Like you said that shit right.
Well, man, let's wrap this up with this last question that I got for you, man. Let's just say that you're walking down the street and out of the blue, a UFO pops out and aliens come out and they come to you and they say, yo, Forreign, we need your help. Because you and only you can help us out with our situation. You'll be like, all right, though, let's tear some shit down. And they'll be like, but before you do, just so you know, you'll be out for a while. We don't know when you're going to come back. Here's a piece of paper. Write 3 pieces of advice that you will give to someone. What are those 3 pieces of advice?
All right. Don't overthink shit. Big shouts, Kenny Beats. That's his motto.
Oh,
I always think about that one. The other 3, shit, that's like my number 1, man. That's always the one that I always think about. What are the other 2? I would say, good hygiene. Make sure your teeth clean. I'll be honest. Hygiene is very important. I will say that is some good ass advice.
Something that many never talk about, but that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. What would my third be? I guess just enjoy life, you know, like like you might be in the worst scenarios,
right,
but in about give it a couple months, you're gonna look back and be, you know, you're gonna be like, man, I'm not going through this shit anymore, you know? So I'd say like, you know, definitely think about like enjoy life, think about the little things, enjoy the little things. You know, you don't have to be so materialistic or anything, you know? Yeah. Like just I guess the overall would be enjoy life, but within that enjoy life, there's so much to that iceberg.
Yeah.
Of that meaning.
Preach about it, man. That's very good. That's very good, man. Dude, thank you very much for sitting down and have this conversation with me, man.
Yeah, of course.
It was an honor and privilege for you to even show up here in the podcast, man. Thank you so much. Before we leave, plug yourself out, man. Let the people know where they can follow you and what they can expect from you in the future.
Oh, I mean, self-released EPs coming out soon. Got a couple banging releases. One might be already out by now that I can't even say on the podcast, really. But even if it's already out by now, all my socials are just Forreign. If you're looking on Instagram, it's Forreign Official or Official Forreign. Which one is it? Hold on one sec.
With 2 R's, remember, 2 R's.
With 2 R's, FORREIGN. Let me look really quick. Is it Official Forreign or Forreign Official? Yes, Forreign Official. And yes, with 2 R's. Spell Forreign right, but add a second R. SoundCloud is just Forreign. Spotify's Forreign. I stream pretty much daily as well. If people are into like gaming and stuff like that, I'm usually chilling there. You know, Twitter, it's Forreign Music. Facebook, it's Forreign Official. Yeah, anywhere that you could just search up Forreign in the search bar, you'll be able to find me pretty easily, I would say. Yeah, I'm pretty active on all of my socials. So if you find me on at least one of them, hey, you'll see me on there, you know. But yeah, that's kind of it on my end on there. Yeah.
That's pretty dope, man. Well, thank you very much for coming over to the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, dude. This is dope. This is a fun like almost 2.5 hours.
Something like that. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm dividing this into 2 episodes. So you know.
For sure, no worries.
All right. And yeah, man, thank you for coming in. And thank you guys for listening. And remember, every week is a brand new episode with a brand new topic. So always remember to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And of course, you can check them out on Wolves and Music. And you can check my YouTube channel at the Lone Wolv Podcast or lonewolvpod.com. That's lone, WOLV pod.com, where you can check all my latest episodes. Comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a specific topic that you want me or Forreign to cover it, please let us know in the comments down below. We'll try our best to cover it on the next episode. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Later, bitches.